everyone, so this is Helen Trimble, and for my theater arts assignment I am going to be doing the makeup of Lily Owens from The Secret Life of Bees. So basically her backstory is she has an abusive dad, and so I'm just gonna be recreating one of those scenes you would usually expect after he abused her, hit her. I'm going to give her a black eye, a scrape above my left eyebrow, and then I'm going to give her some cuts and a little bruise on my lip, and then a small cut on my nose. So right now I have just washed my face and I am putting on my moisturizer, and now I'm putting on my foundation. So the foundation I'm using mainly to get rid of the red in my face because I'm going to make Lily look kind of sickly and just kind of take out all the color in my face, hopefully. So I'm putting more foundation on my cheeks and forehead where I know I'm more red, so hopefully it'll block it out. Alright, so I finished applying my regular foundation, and now I'm just going back over and I'm gonna cover up my lips a little bit more to take more color out of them. So that's what I'm doing right now, just blending it all in. Alright, so now we're going to start on the black eye. The black eye is going to be on my right eye. My camera is mirrored, so it looks like it's on my left, but I'm doing it on my right eye. So I began with the brightest red in the wheel, and I'm just putting that around the very corner of my eye because that's where it's going to be the most tender. So right now I'm just kind of blending it in all together. So now I'm going to be taking the darker red in the wheel, and I'm going to be putting that on top of the bright red and just kind of line my under eye with it, because that is going to show more heavy bruising and just kind of give more shadows and dimensions to the eye that I want to make look swollen. Alright, so we're going to take some more of the dark red and just kind of put it deeper into the corner of the eye so it becomes more prominent. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take our first stipple sponge. It's going to be the one with the smaller closed holes. And we're just going to put some dark red on that and dab it throughout my eye, under my eye primarily. It'll be showing the blood vessels that have broken during the bruising, and it'll just give my eye more texture. Okay, now going back to the wheel, we're going to be putting some black on it to help darken the eye and give it more shadow and depth. So as you can see, I put kind of a lot on, but that's okay. I'm just going to use my finger and blend it in a little bit, make it look more like shadows. Alright, moving away from the black, we're going to do the green. So we're just going to put the green a little bit around the outsides of the red, and I'm going to be looking closer at where my bones are. So my nose, cheekbones right above my eyebrow, that's where it's going to be more like green and yellow bruising, the older and like harder. So as I'm finishing up the green, I'll now put more yellow than green, primarily on my cheekbones and near my nose, just to show like kind of older bruises built on top of the new black eye and just kind of blend in with my color. Alright, so we're almost done with the black eye. I'm just using the stipple sponge and going back to the dark red, put a little bit on that, and I'm just going to dab it once more across my eye, bring out some more broken blood vessels, and kind of trace the my dark circle I already have. So we're done with that, and now we're going to move on to my eyebrow mark. So I'm just going to keep the red that I have on my sponge, get a little bit brighter red on it, and I'm going to put that on my eyebrow. Don't worry about getting it in like your little hair. I moved my hair back, but it's fine. And so I'm just kind of moving it around, making it look like a bruise. This one will be older, so not as fresh, but later on we'll see that there are some blood marks, so there's more breakage of the skin, but it's not so dark as my eye. Alright, so now it's kind of blended in, so I'm going to put some more bright red onto where the spot I want to have the actual hit mark be. So that, for me, it's going to be right on my eyebrow, right at the end, right there. So I'm just putting some darker red to show it out, a little bit darker and a little bit more brighter. And I'm going to keep the dark red that I have on my sponge, and I'm going to mark up where my nose cut will be. I'm not going to do the cut quite yet, but I'm showing where it will be since I have the color on my sponge. And now I'm moving on to my lip, so I'm just kind of marking it up with the red I have on my sponge, and I'm putting some bright red on top of it, and I'm just patting that on, coating it on. And now I'll be putting some more dark red on it, and next I'll use some yellow and do some bruising along the chin. So again, we're looking at our facial features, where our bones are, and just where we think we'll see more bruising than others and different discolorations. Alright, now we're going to be starting our cut. So I have liquid latex right here, and so I'm just going to open that up. I'm going to get my tool. It's a small metal one. I'm going to be using the curved end to get the latex out of the bottle. So I'll show you right there, the little hook. And I'm just dipping a little bit in. You don't need too much. Since our skin is really thin on our nose, it's just going to be a small, shallow cut. You can see me tracing where I want my cut to be. Again, it's on the red spot I made earlier with my sponge. Alright, now that I put my latex bottle away, I'm going to use my tool, and at this time I'm going to use the flat bit, and I'm just going to create my cut. So latex gives us the chance to kind of give it more dimension than we can with makeup, so I'm actually making it look like there's a tear in my skin. So I'm just doing it a little bit, not too much. You can see that I do have a cut in there. You can see it's a shadow. And so yeah, I'm gonna let that dry. And while we do that, I'm gonna use the coagulated blood and go touch up on my eyebrow and lip. Alright, so with the coagulated blood, I'm going to be using the bigger hold stipple sponge, and so the blood can be a little thick, so I'm going to have to dab it quite a bit of times to get as much as I want. But you just keep dabbing. Might need to put some water in it or another type of liquid. Just keep stippling it on your skin. I'm doing it a lot in my eyebrow because that's where I want my hit to be. So don't be afraid to mess up your hair. I'm going to be moving around my eyebrow a lot. And now on my lip, I'm adding some blood because I've been hit. My lips are like pretty tender, so they crack easy. So I'm going to be taking my tool, again the flat side, dipping it into the blood and creating little lines that match up with the lines on my lips already. So I'm just going to make it look bloodier and more dramatic, really. Alright, so now that I got my cuts, I'm just going to use the stipple sponge to make it a little bit more messy, make it look more realistic, and just kind of move it around a little bit, have fun. I'm going to return to my eyebrow. I didn't get as much as I wanted up there, so just going to be fixing it how I want it to look like. Alright, it looks like my latex is all dry, so I'm going to start on my cut. So first I'm going to close up my blood, and I'm going to take my stipple sponge, my smaller hold one, and the color wheel again. I'm going to be mixing the bright red and the dark red together, and just putting it over top the latex, kind of covering up if any other white that's still showing. Just gonna make it look more like a wound. I'm gonna get the bright red. I'm gonna put that into the center of my cut, or as closest to that as I can, so it looks redder, more irritated where the actual cut is. Alright, now I'm taking my tool again and the blood, again the flat side, and I'm going to be dipping it into the blood. And I'm going to be just dripping it into the little cut that I made from the latex. So it's okay to just kind of move it around, play with it. I like how it looks right now. It's darker, so it's going to be a not as fresh wound. It's going to have a kind of scabbed over. And I'm going to put the tools away, and I'm just going to pick up the sponge again and use the blood, put it in, and then I'm going to move it around my nose again to make it look a little messier, a little bit more real. Alright, now that we're done with pretty much all of the wounds, now I'm going to be taking the cleanest finger I have. This one's my pinky. I'm going to put black on it, and I'm just going to make dark circles underneath her eyes because Lily won't get much sleep. She's pretty malnourished, so her eyes will be sunken in a little bit. So that's what I'm doing right now with the black. Just using as much as I think is needed. I'm moving around my already dark circles and just circling it around my eye. Alright, now since the eye is done, like I said before, Lily's pretty malnourished, her family's pretty poor, so I'm just gonna bring in my cheeks a little bit, kind of sculpt them in for shadows, give it kind of a dirty look too, because they live on a farm and she sells peaches from her dad's peach farm, so it's okay if she looks a little dirty, but not too dirty. We don't want her to look muddy, especially if the actor's on stage. We want it to actually show something, not just that she's dirty. Alright, so this is pretty much the finished look. So yeah, let me know if you like it. Gonna be adding a little bit of yellow on my cheek though. I feel like there was just a little bit too much red there, so adding it just below my dark eyes, and yeah, now I'm pretty satisfied with it. Thank you for watching. Bye.